Hey, what's up everyone? It's Crucial here at my test world. These are Minecraft traffic lights. They're pretty fun to wire up, so I'm going to do a tutorial for you guys. Try it out for yourselves. But I'm not going to do a tutorial on the lighting unit. I'll just give you a quick shot of how I managed to pull it off. I want you to get fancy and come up with your own creative lighting system. But I'll do a tutorial on the core unit. Okay, it starts off here. It's a clock. The clock's fully adjustable. You can tweak the timing if you want. And it goes into a shift register. Feel free to use your own design for a shift register if you want. I don't think this is the most effective shift register, but it does the trick. And the shift register goes into a little timing system, which goes into a decoder for the lights. So I'm going to give you a quick view of the decoder, how I managed to pull it off. This decoder is customizable. Basically you would add more bits into the shift register and you would change the timing, right? This is the timing. Timing's achieved by connecting bits as they go in a sequence. So basically this piece of the timing system has 3 bits of input or data, and this last bit of the timing only has 2 bits of data. So that's how the timing system's achieved, and this is how I achieve the decoding. But I will do a tutorial on the whole thing right now, so you can follow along. So I am going to build it off the ground just because I hate digging into the ground. But we're going to start off with an RS NOR latch array. This is our input here, and the array goes, just follow along as I build this here. You lay in my blocks and I'll explain what's going on. Alright, so there's one module of the RS NOR latch array. Like that. And we're going to have 10 of these in a row side by side, and basically what they're going to do is count these torches in a sequence. They'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So the quickest way I achieve building this is just laying in the blocks and then breaking out the unnecessary blocks. Alright, so now that we have all the blocks in place, we can go ahead and smash the ones we don't need. And that's this 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you reach underneath the unit to the left and you take out 3. Okay, now we're going to see how many we have because we only need 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, now let's add in our supplies. So we'll go ahead and stick these repeaters in. And we'll follow it up by these 2 repeaters. Now we can do some dust. And more redstone dust. And finally the torches. 1 underneath and 1 on the side here. Okay, finally we're going to put 2 ticks of delay on these repeaters only. Alright, there's our RS NOR latch counting array. Now in order for this to function properly, it has to have a short pulse. So we're going to wire up a pulse shortener. Extend the input 2 extra blocks, just so the pulse shortener doesn't interfere with this first module here. way this is built is like this. This is going to be the pulse shortener. So it gets one torch on the block on the right hand side and torch on the side of the block on the left. Connect those torches. The torch on this block here with the torch on it gets 2 repeaters, and the block with the dust and torch on the side only gets 1 repeater. 2 ticks of delay for the torch, and you can add a lever in there to test her out. You follow the signal, and yeah, it wasn't going to do anything. You see that these torches are out. They need to be in the on state, so we're going to have to reset our unit. You can reset the unit by taking out this torch here. You'll see that they all went out, and then replace it. Now these torches are on. Okay, so the unit's actually working. So, alright, set. Sorry. So now we'll give it another go, and what we're expecting is this first torch to go out, which it did, and it stayed out. Next one in sequence is the second torch, and it went out, but you're going to notice here that the torch behind it is still out, which is just fine in an RS nor latch counting array. And the third one is out, but everything behind it is out. So what we're going to do is transform this counting array into a shift register. So basically when the next torch, when this one would go out, everything behind it should be lit, and everything in front of it should be lit. So the only one out is the one selected in a sequence, a shift register. So we're going to switch colors here for a little decoder that we're going to attach to this counting array. And the outputs of these modules here, you can use this 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's 4 different outputs on each one of these units. We're going to utilize this output here. So this is going to be our first module in the decoder to make it a shift register. And it is basically those 4 blocks there. And this is the input here. It comes in and it goes to this torch, which is going to power this. I'll lay some dust underneath it and a repeater facing into this block, and each one of these units is going to have a reset. This repeater here will be the one that turns everything behind it back on. So there's the module for the decoder. Now we're going to go ahead and extend this the whole way here. So these bottom 3 you can just rip out real quick like we did the counting circuit. Now you can cut out the unnecessary blocks, and that's these 3. Like so. Now we're going to add in these 2 blocks, and that's attached right directly to the back of the counting unit. Okay, now let's add in our supplies. You can go in whichever particular order. I think we're going to start off with the reset, and we'll lay in these repeaters. Now we can go ahead and stick our dust in there. And last but not least, our redstone torches. There we go. So, now when we test the unit, there's only one bit of data, there's only one value lit, and it's shifting along. So, we achieved the shift register. let's hook up a clock to our register here so we can so we don't have to keep flipping this lever. And we're gonna hook the clock directly into the back of this pulse shortener. So lay 4 blocks and then an extra block just up like that. 2 repeaters facing into this block, and then 2 repeaters beside those in the opposite direction. Place that piece of dust where the lever was, and you could stick a torch on here. Now you can tweak the timing. I usually extend the time quite a bit, and you can control this clock by adding by manipulating this torch here. So simply place a lever here, or that's where your input would be. So now it should be shifting, which it isn't. Oh, right. Okay, that brings me to our next step. You can see here that it's actually stuck on the last unit, so we're going to turn it off. And if you remember the way I reset it before, it was by us manipulating this torch's value here. So you can see here that when we knock that torch out and replace it, the unit is set back up to 0. So let's flip the clock and let's just watch it in action. Should go 1, then 2 in sequence, lighting up every value behind it. Alright, so we do need to hook up a reset. And the reset's important so it doesn't get stuck, as you just seen there. So we'll hook up a yellow reset. We're gonna come off the last module in the Latch counting array, and we're gonna use this output here as before, but we need to bump it out 1 block just so when we run it down to the first module, it's not over top of these torches. You don't want these torches to interfere with the reset. So let's just run this right down, and we're going to plug it into this block here with that final torch on it. Now you can't use a torch to invert the signal, so you have to build a little staircase. And I bump it out 1 extra block so I can stick a repeater into it. Like that. And then just run some dust. And this is going to require a repeater somewhere in the middle, just because it won't make it the entire length. So let's stick a repeater here, somewhere in the middle. And now when it reaches the final module on this Latch counting array, it will reset back to the first one. So we can flip it on again, see it in action. And it appears to be working perfectly. You'll see there that it's on its 10th module, and it resets back to the first one. Okay, now our next issue is these lines are inverted. They are in the on state, and the one that is selected, the bit we have selected, is in the off state. We want to reverse that. We want the bit to be in the on state and all the other ones to be off. So we could simply run inverters off it like that, but I'm actually going to bump my inverter up 1 block in this case because I don't want to start digging into the ground. But you can just run it to the face there. And we've just inverted the value on the shift register, which is perfect. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is wire up the timing. So that's pretty easy. Basically, we're going to attach the first 3 values on the shift register together, like that. and then the next two values are going to be attached in that order, and then we're going to break that beat, or whatever you want to call it, timing, and we're going to repeat it for the last 5. So 3 are together, and then the last 2 we will put together. Now this is where it's customizable. If you wanted the green lights to be longer, what you would do is add 2 more bits in the shift register, and basically add another torch into this sequence in the timing. Not the small one, because the small one is basically when it changes colors. This is the yellow lights. So you would add it onto this sequence here to get extended green lights. 2 more modules in the shift register, and 2 more sequences on the bigger ones, the bigger values here. Alright, so that's the timing. Now we're going to break off of the center in each one of these timings, preferably the center. And this is where it comes to wiring up the actual traffic lights. Alright guys, so what I went ahead and done is nailed out the lights. These are going to be your outputs to where each corresponding light is going to go into your lighting system. But let's wire up the decoder now. This might get a little bit confusing, but I'll try and explain it as best as I can. This first section here goes directly into the red light. 1 block away, you're going to cut it straight down, and it's going to go directly into your green light. Now, I bumped out the second outputs, couple blocks here, 3 blocks from the edge of this unit, so my final bus here won't interfere with the decoder. So, run this line directly into the green light like that, and we're going to lay in our redstone. Now let's give it some power to test it out. That should have given it power. Okay, now what we're going to do is lay in our repeaters. So I put a repeater in front of this corner because it tends to glitch out around corners now. So it's nailing that one repeater there. And it looks like we're going to need another repeater right here. Okay, now moving along to the second part of it, we're going to create our bus over top of this line. It's just a little bridge. Okay, now this line is going to go into the yellow light on this first lighting unit here. Like that. And it's going to go directly into that other yellow light. And we lay in our redstone. Alright, now again we're going to test this unit. We disable this one. We engage the second unit. Don't know why it's doing that. And we're going to lay in the repeaters. This repeater basically will be matching up with this one here. And it looks like all systems are go. Now we're going to skip the third unit here and move right on to the fourth one. The fourth one gets a bus that's going to go over top both these repeaters. Like that. And it's going to plug directly into this red light here. And go into the green light in the other unit. Lay in our dust. And we're going to make sure the power reaches. So we're going to lay in a repeater here. Actually, wait. Hold on. I did this a little bit wrong, incorrectly. This second unit's gonna go directly into the red light, my bad. And you actually need a repeater here, so the power from the first unit doesn't backflow. And this one's actually not going to the green, this one actually goes to the yellow. Minor error. Like that. Alright, now we're going to work with the third one here. The third one gets a bus over top of these 3 lines. Like that. There's dust over top of it. I put a repeater on it. Okay, now this line goes into this green light. And it plugs into this red one here. Now you want to put a repeater facing this direction on the right side of the bus so this line doesn't backflow into the green. Like that. And we're going to test out that unit. There we go. And it looks like it makes it to both lights. So everything's good. Replace our torches and dust. And the lights are now decoded and timed. So let's flick on our unit and see the result. Basically you can see the shift register going over the timing unit, which is decoding it so the lights are synchronized appropriately like actual traffic lights would be. Pretty cool. Hey, hold on. Looks like I might have seen an error there. Let me just watch it. Alright, green light, red light. The green one should go yellow and red. Then it should go red and green. Oh, why is that yellow one on? Hold on. Stop this. Okay. So we have a bit of a problem here. It was in this third unit. So it looks like it's backflowing from here, so we need a repeater also here. So only the red one is on. It doesn't, red and green, it doesn't backflow in this direction to affect the yellow. That was a little minor mistake. So now we could test it and it should run smoothly. Oh. Place our dust and torch, and there we go. Alright, so these are the outputs for your traffic lights. That shouldn't have happened, but you can run these out to whatever unit you want to design something like this, like something realistic or whatever. You can get fancy and creative, but that was the core unit. I hope it wasn't too complicated for you guys. I really did my best. Keep in mind you can implement your own circuits, you can implement your own timing, you can implement your own shift register, whatever, right? But that was it. Hope you guys enjoy. Rate, comment, and subscribe.